be using this palette for this look. First off, we're priming the eyelid with the P.Louise base in 01 and 03 as usual. Then we're taking this deep blue shade called Slay and applying it in the outer V and extending it to the inner parts of the crease. Then we're taking the shade Mistletoe, which is a deep green shade, to blend out the previous blue shade. And I'm re-intensifying it and re-blending it. Then I'm using Baubles, which is the multi-chrome shade, and applying it to the entire eyelid. Then I'm using blank canvas from P.Louise to draw out a liner, which will serve as a base for the eyeshadow on top. Then I'm using Stocking, which is a red shade, applying it on top of the P.Louise blank canvas in the front and at the back. And then I'm applying Gingerbread, which is an orange shade, in the middle. Finally, I'm using Tinsel, which is a metallic copper shade, and applying it on top of the orange shade. Then I'm using Slay, which is a deep blue shade, and applying it to the waterline and blending it out a little bit with the same shade. And then I'm using the green shade again, Mistletoe, to blend out the blue shade at the lower lash line. I had some fallout, so I'm using my face powder to blend it out. Then I'm using Jingle Bells to highlight my inner corners, and using Fairy Lights to highlight my brow bone. Put on some lashes and the rest of my makeup, and this look is complete. Hi guys, so today I will bring you a video about the new Glaminatrix Cosmetics Christmas palette Silent Night. So this palette is a limited edition palette. It is only available for the Christmas season 2021. Even though it is limited edition, when I'm filming this video, it is still available, and the price for it is 65 Australian dollars. It basically is around 40 to 50 US dollars. So this palette, the color story looks something like this. As you can see from my previous clips of this video, it is very beautiful. It has 4 mattes and 4 shimmers. It is very balanced. You have your red, your orange, your blue, and your green. And there is one very beautiful multi-chrome here called Baubles, and this is a blue to gold to pink multi-chrome, and this is the shade that I applied to the majority of my eyelid. And you can see from the clip that it definitely can show on the eyelid, and it shifts quite strongly. So yeah, it is a very nice shadow. So about the formula of this palette, I can definitely see they have reformulated the eyeshadow, because they have hinted that they are going to reformulate the eyeshadow for quite some time now. I can see that comparing this palette to the previous palette and their single eyeshadows, the mattes in this palette are less kick-uppy, and it is significantly different, because the previous palette, if you dip your brush in them, you can get a lot of fallout. But in this palette, maybe I can show you, there's not really any fallout. But it is inevitable that if you want less fallout, the pigmentation will be less intense, because you're picking up less pigment. But the pigmentation on this palette is still quite decent comparing to most of the eyeshadows in my collection. Even though they are less pigmented than their previous formula, it's still very pigmented and very blendable, even more blendable than their previous formula, if I may say. Because you can see in this palette, these two shades are pretty deep, but I can easily use this deep green shade to blend out this deep blue shade, so you can see that it is very blendable, because it is often the deeper shades that's more difficult to formulate, but still Glaminatrix Cosmetics makes beautiful matte shadows, and they remain my favorite matte formula of all time. As for the shimmers, apart from Baubles, I have already mentioned is quite shifty and amazing. The rest of them are regular shimmer shades. Fairy Lights, this lightest shade, is a bit more flaky and more sparkly. And while Tinsel and Jingle Bells are more of your traditional kind of wet metallic shades. They're all very beautiful, don't get me wrong, but my favorite shade from this palette is definitely Baubles. This is such a unique multi-chrome. I don't have anything like this in my collection. So yeah, I'm definitely in love with this palette. It is such a beautiful palette with such high quality. I would definitely recommend everybody to pick this up. It is still in stock. I remember reading on their Instagram post that if you buy this palette right now, they will ship it out in 1 or 2 business days. So yeah, I do recommend this palette very much, and I do really enjoy my experience of using this palette today, and I created these 2 looks with much ease. All of the eyeshadows blends out beautifully. If you're interested, there's a link down in my description below. It is not affiliated, so please don't feel pressure to click on it. Those are my overall thoughts on this palette. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Please don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button and turn on the notification. I will see you all in the next one. Bye!